right, so Tamara, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You've been here a lot.
It's like my second home.
It's your second home. We like having you here. So
Good.
we are a resident mortgage expert.
Yeah.
Back for a little more info.
You bet.
So this one, we're going to talk about the big buzz, interest rates.
Yes.
What is going on with interest rates?
Oh, it's been a bit of a wild year.
Yeah. So if we look at I've been talking about this forever, it seems like, but we're coming up to maybe, if we go back 12 months to where we are today, what's happening? What happened? What is going on with that?
So the hike started in March. So we're not even a year out of kind of the start of it really happening.
Yep.
And from March till now, which we're in November now, it's been 3.5%.
Right.
So the overnight Bank of Canada rate was 0.25 back in January.
Okay.
And now we're sitting at 3.75.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So things are climbing. People are concerned.
Yes.
They're unsure. How do we talk to our clients? What do we say to them? Because it is a little bit shocking. We had it very well for a while, and now we see things climbing and people are getting maybe a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I mean, it has been quite an aggressive year.
Yes.
I think if we look back 12 months, people maybe didn't see it getting quite to this point.
Right.
I think it has maybe gone a little bit beyond expectations, which, I mean, is just the reality that we're living in. So there's not a lot we can do about it, but it has been quite substantial.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And so if we look at some of the factors that affect interest rates, what would that look like?
I mean, it's all kind of economic driven.
Okay.
So there's not a lot we can do. Inflation is a big deal. I think everyone hears that buzzword every second day or every second hour, right?
For sure. Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And interest rates are kind of the only thing we really have to fight against it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's crazy and it's a lot, but in order to kind of get everything more affordable and under control, we got to go through a little bit of pain, I think, first to get back to a better baseline and an affordability factor.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I know the last time we talked about first-time home buyers, and so they're probably very nervous because they don't have as much experience.
Right.
So they're a little concerned about, geez, what's going on? There's all this talk. The rates are going up. Should we buy now? Shouldn't we? So it can be a very stressful thing for first-time home buyers as well.
It can, and it's kind of, it's a big complicated thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not, an economics master,
right,
there's a lot of information and a lot of factors.
Sure.
So it can be big for first-time buyers. I think some of the things they can keep in mind is, it's a little bit high now.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of closing in.
Okay.
Hopefully towards the end of it.
Fingers crossed.
And ideally, the Bank of Canada's goals will be that we'll see a bit of a pullback.
Okay.
So we have to continue to rise to fight inflation.
Right.
But this isn't their baseline neutral goalpost.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Now, if we're talking like fixed rate mortgage versus variable, especially today, relevant right now, towards the end of 2022.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
They're currently pretty close.
Okay.
They're really not that far apart
Right.
at the moment. It's going to depend on a few things. So it's going to depend a little bit on your comfort level.
Okay.
Because I don't think we're necessarily done with rate increases.
Right.
Hopefully we're nowhere near what we've seen,
Right, yeah.
but there may still be a little bit more to go.
Okay.
So those choosing kind of that adjustable rate option do need to be comfortable with what that might look like.
Right. The fluctuations.
Yeah. But to lock into a fixed rate at this time, you might be closing in on some of the higher fixed rates.
Right.
And hopefully maybe at some point before the end of your term, they start to go down.
Right.
So do you want to commit to that for that period of time?
Yeah. And that's a great way to put it, commitment, because it seems like we are at that point where we're not 100% sure. That's a hard decision to make, I would think.
It can be, yeah. And I mean, again, it's going to depend a little bit on comfort level, a little bit on future plans.
Right.
So if rates go down and you want to reset your mortgage at a lower rate and you're on a fixed rate,
Right.
the bigger the spread between what you're paying and the new rate that you want is going to affect the penalty to break the mortgage.
Okay.
So it may or may not be worth it.
Yeah. We want to avoid those penalties at all costs.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can look into maybe shorter terms.
Right.
And then you're not, locked into that rate for so long.
Okay. And then so, if we sort of talk about, mortgage rates and monthly payments, how does that look like? Like, if we say, well, it's a 0.5% increase, a 1% increase in the rate, what will that do to
your payment if you're on like an adjustable?
Because when you hear 1%, you're like, well, geez, it doesn't seem like that much. But over time, maybe that's significant.
Yeah, and it's going to depend on how much money you owe, right?
Right.
So we often like to break it down into like per 100,000.
Okay.
Because then it's just a nice, simple number to start from, and then you can kind of equate it to your own mortgage.
Right.
0.5 currently increase is going to be about $30 a month.
Okay.
On your $100,000 owed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's still real money. It adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Along with the other inflation.
Well, and if you have a big mortgage, I mean, obviously that compounds a bit.
For sure.
But if you've been able to pay it down and you're, in that $200,000 to $300,000 range, it might be not as terrible, hopefully.
Right. Okay. And again, we've always talked like there's a lot of variables here.
Yeah.
And so we're broad brush strokes.
Yes.
You've got to really get your calculator out and do the math. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are. We're getting towards the end of the year. We've pulled out our crystal ball. We've looked into it.
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, what does that look like, do you think?
Yeah. Well, I try to keep up on it and do some reading and follow the experts and stuff. I do think predictions are saying we're getting close to the end, but we might be in for maybe 0.5 to 0.75 more by early 2023.
Right. Okay.
So December, there's another meeting, so that may have an impact. But hopefully within the next few months, we're under a % increase.
Okay.
And past that, there's a lot of chat about getting it to where it needs to be and then maybe holding for a bit.
Right. Okay.
So 2023 might be fairly stable, ideally.
Okay.
And then maybe 2024 we get to see
Okay.
some of those drops.
So we got a little work ahead of us.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of time, but I think the general consensus is that the worst is over.
Okay.
2023 will be a lot flatter. And then hopefully end of 2023, 2024, we kind of see the effects. So and like with the rate increases, it takes a full year, they say, to see the impact of it.
Right.
So
there's a lag there.
There's a big lag. So we're not even a year past when they started raising rates.
Yeah.
So 2023 is probably going to be a big year with just assessing how 2022 impacted everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So meeting in December.
Yep.
We're hoping for a Merry Christmas.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
We'll regroup in the new year.
Yes.
And then see what's going on with the rates and,
Yeah.
we'll see if it changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So.
Thank you for all the great information. I know it's a moving target, but
hey, we just do the best with what we have at the time.
do the best, that's for sure. So
you bet.
Thank you again for coming over and filling us with this information. So really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And we'll see you on the next show. And again, thanks very much for tuning in. Give us that like, subscribe, please, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again.